Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on another very special edition of Ask Sharifah Videocast. Now, I always say every edition is special. Some are more special than others, but this one is going to be one of my favorites because I love Sandy Chasteen. She's going to be our guest today. She has so much bubbly, contagious enthusiasm, but she mixes it all with a lot of information and she just shares it with everyone. So before we get too much further into this interview, I'm going to ask you to do what I always ask you to do, and that's to go ahead and share this interview because friends don't let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. So we have some people right now that are joining us the in the chat. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please feel free to ask them in the comment section and I'll pass them along to our guest. And again, our guest today is Mrs. Sandy Chasteen. Good morning, good afternoon, Sandy. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. I love you, Sharifah. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome. I love you. We see we see even the cat is in the background.
I got my cat. Everybody knows my cat.
You have a lot going on back there.
I do. My housekeeper is here too. Hopefully it won't be too loud.
No, hey, you got to do what you have to do. So Amber is joining us. Lemuel has joined us. So if anyone has any questions or comments. So Sandy, one of the reasons or one of the things I love about you is you have your hands in so many different things and you do everything with a smile. Tell us a little bit about doTERRA and where you are with doTERRA.
Oh, thanks. All right. I do have my fingers in a lot of pots. So today is the last day of April. Tomorrow is May 1st. And I hit my 5-year anniversary with doTERRA. Yay!
Congratulations. Yes.
So doTERRA as a company is 11 years old and I've been with them for 5. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a big adventure. So I see a couple of my team members on here. So yay team. Woohoo! So what do you want to know? Ask me something.
I have a lot of questions. The questions are coming. Like I've never seen like the hippie kind of doTERRA kind of person. It's like, yeah, dude, what are we doing next? I just love your energy. But as far as doTERRA, you said you just hit 5 years with doTERRA. What made you start this journey?
Ooh, okay. So a career military officer. I was active duty 9 years. I left that and I went into pharmaceutical sales, which is a natural transition for a lot of military people. You're going from the frying pan to the fire, right? I lasted about a year as a pharmaceutical sales rep before I started learning about holistic modalities. I became a holistic health coach and I was working with clients, private clients, groups, a few online things, nothing big. So I was juggling kids and being a wife, a mother, PTA, all that kind of stuff. And then I learned about doTERRA. So as a holistic health coach, we learn a lot about a lot of different things. So I thought I was a big time aromatherapist because I was putting lavender in my bath, right? So I would get it from like Whole Foods or whatever. And then, I bumped into several different people that were working with the essential oils. I'm like, what is all the hubbub, right? And so a gal came over and did a technique called Aroma Touch on me. It was my birthday. So she came over, she brought her massage table. So you lay face down on the massage table. It's kind of like a massage, but not really. And you do about 8 different oils along the spine, the head, the bottoms of the feet. And honestly, after the treatment, it was like a half hour. I thought that was the lamest massage I've ever had, right? But it's not a massage. It's the clinical therapeutic application of essential oils. But when I sat up and you feel the full power of the essential oils, I had this whole flash of memories, of images that I didn't know where they came from. Some of them I did, some of them I didn't. And I looked at the gal, her name's Melody, and hi Melody if you're watching, and I said, I don't know what you just did, but, and I said, I no longer hate my mother. I don't hate my mother. So Mom, if you're watching, I don't hate you. But what was presented to me was all these memories that I hadn't been able to access in a long time. And I was literally flooded with images of my mom, like trying to love me, right? And then I had put up walls or barriers or whatever. And that's kind of what the essential oils do. They can open you up to healing that you may not be expecting. Now, for me, I had a little bit of a of a different journey. But the bottom line was, after this experience, it was so profound. And I just looked at her, I'm like, I had no idea that essential oils could do something like that. And she just kind of smiled sweetly, like they do a lot of things for a lot of people. And I knew after that experience that I needed to learn more about the power of these essential oils. And this experience was so profound that I wanted to learn how to, not only do this, but teach other people how to do this. And then my mind was just reeling with the healing applications. Like, I knew a lot about holistic modalities, but this was something that was very hands-on, user-friendly, not too difficult to learn, and it was accessible to anybody. And I felt what it was for me. Now, people have different experiences. That's what it was for me. And that just catapulted me on a whole journey from there. So yeah, it was the aroma touch.
The aroma touch is how it all starts.
Now, and I have aroma touched you, so you know.
Yes, definitely one of the best experiences I've had, able to release a lot of things I didn't even know I was holding in. So yes, I love that experience. Now, you mentioned aroma touch, but before you had the aroma touch, were you familiar with essential oils? Had you used essential oils, or is this like a brand new awakening for you?
Like I said, I mean, they were out there and I knew about them as a holistic health coach. And you can probably see some of the books in the background on my shelf. I mean, I have all these books on healing and they reference the essential oils, but it was always like in passing, use lavender, use orange, use peppermint or whatever. But it's not like we were officially trained on that as a holistic health coach. So again, I thought I was I was an aromatherapist because I was putting lavender in my bath, or, I've been making homemade like body care supplies for years in my coaching groups. And so my coaching clients, they all knew we made our own deodorant, we made our own this, we made our own toothpaste, all that kind of stuff. And we would put the essential oils in, if it was safe. And this doTERRA is just a completely different class and group of essential oils. So it just catapulted everything. I didn't realize that we could use them as medicine, right? I just thought they smelled good. Maybe, they could do certain things, but it had never occurred to me that we could use them clinically. So that was a big turning point for me.
Yes. And so Edward Philippe says, aroma touch is wonderful. Go Sandy. So you definitely have some supporters out here showing you,
thank you, Edward.
showing you some love. Okay. Yes. You have an expression for that. There's an oil for that. There's an expression for that. Sandy has it all.
Absolutely. I just love it. Okay. Yeah. So Edward's experienced it and he loved it. And so Edward, who commented below, he's somebody that's like, oh no, I don't use the essential oils, but I wore them down. Right. And then he and his wife came over and they had a beautiful experience. And then Edward, he broke down and he's like, I'm going to have to learn how to do this. I'm like, it's just a very practical, easy to learn technique that is so powerful for people. So Edward, I see you. We're going to get you over here, get you trained up.
Yes. Okay, so you had the aroma touch 5 years ago, and it's basically all she wrote. You've been with doTERRA ever since. What was it like at the beginning? Did you feel that did you think, just look behind you, that you would have a wall full of doTERRA essential oils and items that is basically, everywhere? Or would you think that just, I have a couple of items and that will be it?
I saw from the beginning that it was an entire, we can't really say a medicine cabinet, bathroom cabinet, right? So I always saw from the beginning that whatever the issue was, however the body was out of alignment, then there was an oil that would help bring the body back into balance. And it's really important to understand that it's not that these are cures, or you're not even really using it to treat something. It's that, we are spiritual beings in a physical plane. Can I say that on this show? I think so, right? Yes. And so if anything kind of goes wrong with our bodies, we want to look body, mind, and spirit. And so there's energetic frequencies, there's a lot of things that go on. And so the essential oils are basically just helping the body communicate what those issues are from an emotional, from an energetic level. And so it's very powerful plant medicine that has energetic frequency. And so our body just soaks it up. So whatever the issue is, God gave us a solution on the planet through these plants. So it's plant medicine. And so it's just understanding the language of how the plants work and how they work within the body, with the, with the mind, the heart, and with the gut. So it's really all about bringing those three aspects of our being into balance. When I first started with doTERRA, I knew immediately that I wanted to, do this as a business. I was already an entrepreneur, I already had clients. And so I knew I wanted to do this as a business, and I knew I wanted to become an instructor. So to become an instructor, you have to hit the rank of gold. So, there's a stepwise progression. And so I hit the first leadership rank in about 6 months, and I hit gold within like a year. And so I was poised to become an instructor. But funny things happen on the way to the forum, right? And I actually had a skiing accident with my son, and I fell and I shattered my wrist. So it's very difficult to work with your hands with a broken wrist. And so that caused me to take a step back and do a lot of inner work, as we would say, and all sorts of juicy things came up for me. And and it's funny, I was just reading in your book. I would like to plug your book. Sign, maybe an entrepreneur, right? And I was just giggling as I was reading the pages, because I'm like, yep, she nailed that. Yep. And so anyone beginning a business, you're going to go through these cycles, and you're going to bump into everything in here. So well done on this. And everybody does. So I certainly bumped into those things as well. And here I am 5 years later, and I'm just now figuring out some of those things that when I got started, were bumps in the road. So it's been an interesting journey, to say the least. Yeah. To say
the least. And again, if you are just now coming in to the chat room, if you have any questions, have any comments for our guest, Sandy Chasteen, please feel free to place them in the comment section, and I'll read them to our guest. Genevieve has joined us. Thank you for joining us. Oh my goodness. Yes.
I will say this, there's the power of our guidance system, our intuitive mind. And when I started with doTERRA, it's like I understood it as a business. I understood it was network marketing, but intuitively I was drawn to this aroma touch technique, and I knew I needed to create I knew I wanted to create a huge group of holistic practitioners on my team, right? And then as these different issues came up, for me, with these memories that were coming up, where were they coming from? Boy, I am just so thankful and grateful for every single member of my team. I have about 1,000 people. It's not that many in network marketing world, but it's a lot for me. But every single healer, holistic practitioner that's been on my team has helped me with these different blocks. And I'm a veteran, in the Air Force, and there's things that we do in the military that the average American, the average citizen just has no conception about. Different traumas, different stresses, different circumstances that are just foreign to day-to-day people. And so these oils have been huge in helping me uncover like my own trauma and things that happened to me. And I'm just so thankful to have the oils as a tool alongside all these different holistic practitioners. And I love learning how they use them, right? I know how I use them and how they use them to help overcome, trauma is the big thing. So now I'm, it's 5 years in, and I've made it through to the other side on a lot of my own personal anxiety, depression issues, and overcoming trauma. And if you've ever had an anxiety attack or panic attack, like PTSD is so crippling, I guess is the word. And so now that I'm through on the other side, now I just can't help it. You want to share. And so now I'm kind of focusing right here at the 5-year point on sharing with my my veteran peers. So I'm collaborating with a lot of holistic practitioners like Edward, and with a very sharp focus on helping people to alleviate the anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And so the real goal is to decrease your reliance on pharmaceuticals so that you can really live your full expression. So we know how to work with the body physically. We're very aware of how to work on an emotional level. And then from a business side, right, which is what you're all about as an entrepreneur, how do we help people find that financial health, that financial freedom, if you will, so that we can all be our full absolute expression on the planet. So that's kind of where I am with stuff. But
Now,
it's a process, and you can't just like snap your fingers and help people through that. It's a process, just like you've outlined here. You have to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit more about that process, your workshop you have coming up. So we are going to discuss that, but I want to go back to one of the things that you mentioned about the oils. You started using the oils after you had this aroma touch more for a business as opposed to what you learned in the past. You also mentioned the properties, and we won't use them healing or cures, but the properties that the oils allow you to do. How were you able to get to the point where you were so confident and say, okay, using this oil, it will be able to alleviate this issue or depression or whatever it is that the person is going through? How did you come by that information?
So the good news is, I mean, we have all these, you know, the basic class, we have different types of classes, but we also have, I'm just going to reach off my shelf, we also have books, right? So for me, I work with a lot of intuitive people, and it's fascinating watching them. Like, you see that box of oils over there in the corner. They can literally just like run their hand over the energy frequency of the oil, and they can be working with a client and they just reach for the oil. And it's always magically the right one. I don't have that skill set. I love and admire the people that have that. I'm not there yet. I have to look in the book. And so what's cool is whatever the issue is, you can literally look it up in the book, and then it'll tell you, you know, a few different oils you can look at. So I look at, you know, the specific issue and the oil that they recommend. And then I look in the book and I see, is that a match for what it said? And then I look also on an emotional level. And there's all sorts of books that talk about the emotions. So for me as a holistic health coach, once I lock in on the emotional pattern that is 9 times out of 10 the root of the physical manifestation, then I know the oil is going to bring that energy that's going to balance it, literally help the trapped emotions release, and then the body goes back into balance. So to me, that's the whole ball game. And once I walk people through this process, they're like, oh, well, this is easy. And it is. When you have the tools and the resources and a little guiding path, it's very straightforward. So I really believe there is an oil for just about every situation. And if there's not, then I partner with a lot of other holistic practitioners so we can find the composite protocol. I don't like put all my eggs in one basket. I love the oils, but I love adding it in with other modalities. So Edward Phillip down there, he's a hypnotherapist, right? So how do we put the oils with hypnotherapy to amplify the experience for a broader range of healing? So I think it's really exciting. It's fun.
Yes, I think quite a few practitioners mix the experience, like Dr. Tara, who incorporates it into what she does. Yes.
Yeah. And she's somebody that was helping me with my trauma, right? And just trying to figure it out. And, you know, where is it in the body? How do we get it out? And she absolutely uses the oils very effectively to help guide the body and coerce that trauma out for release. And once it's released, then you're back in balance. So it's beautiful. I love the work that she does. In fact, I have an appointment with her tomorrow at noon. I love all those people. Yeah.
Yes. Well, one of the things that I love that you mentioned is that for you, you know, I think most things that we do starts with our personal experience. And you with your wrist, when you hurt your wrist or broke your wrist, it took you more through this holistic, okay, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Who do I see for that? To the point where you had to kind of remove some people from working on your wrist.
I did. I had too many chefs in the kitchen. Well, when we look metaphysically, I always look metaphysically at, you know, what are the root issues? So I use the Louise Hay books all the time. You can heal your life. So if we just look up wrist as an example, and this is where you can't really hide from holistic practitioners because it's literally right here. There's no secrets. Like when I'm working with people, they literally don't have to fill out any forms because it's all written right there. I love it. I love it. But just an example on where I was stuck, right, in building my own business and moving forward. I almost felt like I was standing there on my skis and my spirit guides knocked me over. You know what I'm saying? Because I had to learn these lessons, right? So when we look at wrist, it represents movement and ease, right?
Okay.
So there were some lessons. Yeah, so I handle all my experiences with wisdom, with love, and with ease. Well, I can tell you in my business, I wasn't handling all of my experiences with wisdom, with love, and with ease. There were some control issues, right? So nothing's going to knock you out of control. It literally knocked me on my backside. I had to sit on the couch with my arm in this big styrofoam brace for several weeks. I couldn't even open a bottle of essential oils, much less do my technique, right? And so this is what I love working with clients, and just understanding that there are no accidents. Everything is divinely guided. It's absolutely divinely orchestrated. You're never a victim. We need to step out of the whole victim thing. And that it's all precisely what your soul needs on that journey. So just as another example, when we look at broken bones, right? Where's I have my glasses on? Broken. Where did bones go? Oh, come on. I know bones was in here. Give me a sec.
We need some hold music for a minute.
I know. Okay. Bones represents the structure of the universe. I am well structured and balanced. And what's so funny is that day that I was skiing with my son, I was literally, praying, chatting with my guides, whatever you want to call it. And I was asking, how do I get out of my head and into my heart with my business, right? Because I knew I was pushing too hard. I knew that, some people were feeling overwhelmed and not quite in that entrepreneurial space as I was, right? And the message that I got, the feedback that I got was, take your hand out of the pull strap, which is an interesting message, right? I'm skiing. I'm like, how is that going to help me? Why would I ski without my hand in the pull strap? I need my hand in the pull strap. I need to have that element of control. And I just kept getting that message. I got it 2 or 3 times. I was like, oh, for crying out loud. And then I was standing there. My son was looking at a trail map, make sure we didn't get lost. And my phone rang. Well, Sandy's tip of the day, if you're on skis, do not try to answer your phone. So I answered my phone. It was dumb. I got not an argument with somebody, but I was like, I can't talk right now. I'm on skis. And then guess what? Down I went, and I had my hand in the pole strap. So the pole went smack right into my wrist, and it shattered instantly. So if I had listened to the guidance, if I had listened to my guides and taken my hand out of the pole strap, let go of the control, then perhaps we would have had a different outcome. So for me, metaphysically, I'm not a victim. It wasn't a random accident. I needed to look inside, right? And follow the structure of the universe, remain structured and balanced, and not have so much control, and operate with more wisdom, love, grace, and ease. And so the next year or two, that's what it was all about, was grace and ease. I see Amelia Cuevas has just jumped on. She knows that story, and it is all about wisdom, grace, and ease, and a whole lot of love. We got to get out of our head and into our heart. So
yes,
it took me a while, but I broke my wrist. It was several days before I was scheduled to become an Aroma Touch instructor, which was my big dream, right? So I was totally derailed, and it took me another year and a half to finally get that. So the universe had spoken.
Yes.
I finally got there, and now I love teaching classes every month or so. I love it, love it, love it. Anyway,
yes.
Wanted stories, there you go.
I love stories. Stories are the best, especially Sandy's stories. I love it. I always enjoy hearing your stories. But I want to go back to one of the things that you were saying about your wrist and this journey for you. I've watched you, at least in this last year, and how you've changed. You're still Sandy, the Sandy everyone knows and loves, but you're more laid back. You're more I almost said fun. Not that you weren't fun before, Sandy, but it's in the last year, it's you become more of a free spirit, and it was just okay with Sandy, okay with however life is going to be. What was that journey like for you? Because I know some people are maybe still where you were, and I know you know exactly what I'm referring to.
All right, so I can go a little sideways on this show, right? I can.
Yes, and all over the place.
All right, so we know that we're spiritual beings in a physical plane, right? Mm-hmm. Many of us are aware that there is no time, right? We always focus on the now, that we're actually multidimensional beings. So by that, I mean, we've got a soul, we've incarnated on this planet, but actually we're in a couple of different places at the same time. And sometimes that's hard for people to wrap their heads around. And so for me, when I was with my broken wrist sitting on the couch, I was beginning to experience a lot of anxiety, anxious feelings, I'm supposed to say. And I was starting to get a lot of flashbacks. Flashbacks of what? I don't know. I didn't understand the memories. Again, so the more I used the oils and applying them on the back of my neck and using them all over my body on a daily basis, I became more and more aware of the spiritual side of things. And so a lot of healers have been using these oils for years, thousands of years in a spiritual setting. And for me, it was really awakening that sense of self, and that reality isn't always exactly what we think it is. And so I was on a huge journey to figure out where these visions, where these memories, where these experiences were coming from. And so remember I said in the beginning that my goal, my intention was to create this team of amazing holistic practitioners. Well, I had to call in poker chips with every single one of them, because I was pretty close to having a nervous breakdown a couple of times. Because when you start to get this information from the other dimensions, when we start really broadening our scope into the interdimensionality of what this existence really is, it's not easy to comprehend, right? So I had leaders saying, "You're delusional. You're crazy. You need to check yourself in." But then I had others, very wise people. So Amelia's on here. She literally held my hand through this whole process, because we are spiritual beings. We are sparks of God. We are sparks of creation, and we're on many different dimensions all at the same time. And my daughter tried to explain this to me when she was a kid. She was one of those really smart, intuitive kids. But it took a long time for me to really grapple with that and grasp with that and understand that some of my experiences in the military, I got sucked into what we would call black ops, right? I got sucked into some super secret projects and programs that when you participate in these types of programs, they don't want you to remember. So they have ways of what they call mind wiping. And so what I was accessing in these memories were things that I was not consciously aware of, and they were basically physically blotted out from my conscious awareness. And so this is where you're like, did it happen? Did it not really happen? If it did happen, where was I? Why am I not aware of it? How come I don't remember the full thing? And so this was a huge journey, and it took me about 2 years to really piece everything together. At every step of the way, I was fully guided, fully supported. So many of healers and intuitives like yourself. You can see the guides, the energy around me. I can't see them. I can feel them, but I can't see them. And I get some messages, but not the clarity and articulation that so many in our circle of friends do. And I relied on every single person in my community to help me just go one step further. And so what we've uncovered is I did play a role in some covert operations, and it was extraordinarily traumatizing to my psyche, to my consciousness. And so my physical body was experiencing this level of trauma and pain and confusion, and I didn't understand why. And so I was just trying to hang on and live a normal life, right? When inside of my body, it was this raging storm of confusion and energy, and I couldn't quite figure it out. But we did figure it out, right? And so it had everything to do with a multidimensional aspect of being. And there's different things that the military industrial complex is very aware of. There's different programs that people like us participate in. And again, you don't remember. And they don't want you to remember. But it's like, once you're an asset, always an asset. So I am observed, I'm watched, and I was very afraid of that. It freaked me out. And other people that would work with me, they would sense that, and they would become freaked out. Different people would tap in, and they're like, "What are you involved in?" And I'm like, "I do not know." And so it was a terrifying experience to go through. Well, now we're on the other side, and now I understand with great clarity and vision of what it was that I participated in, and I am now separated from that. But guess what? I was a participant in that much longer than I was in my regular military service. In fact, it was about a month ago that we were finally able to cleave from that energetically, from that experience. And it was terrifying. It was energetically draining. It had a physical effect on my physical body that I was not consciously aware of. But now we've pulled my energy back. Now I'm me. This is me. So am I more fun? I sure as hell hope so, because I'm no longer embroiled in all of that. I feel 100% safe, secured. I know at any given time I have massive amounts of energy around me. But it was honestly terrifying going through it. There were a couple of like totally bizarre experiences that I had witnesses for. And it's one thing if you're having these crazy thoughts and ideas on your own, you're like, I'm just delusional, you know, but when things happen and you're with other people, you're like, oh, that stuff really happened, you know? So one day I was teaching just a regular emotions, essential oils class, right? And there were, I don't know, 8 or 10 people there. I'm up in front just doing my thing. And just as an example of like the hell I went through, and I was literally being attacked. So I'm just teaching my class, and all of a sudden, my perception was I'm just up there teaching the class, and all of a sudden something above me, like I don't know if you can see, like I have canned lights. Well, you can't see them. I have canned lights above me, right? I'm teaching the class, and all of a sudden this light fixture fell down directly, it was supposed to, it looked like it was going to fall directly on me, but it hit my energy field and it deflected and it broke on the ground, right? Wow. And I'm teaching class. I'm like, what was that? What just happened? You know, I need to get back to teaching class, you know, with all this crashing. But all the people in the room, several of them are, you know, intuitive healers. Those are people we hang out with. And like, Sandy, did you not see that giant energy ball come straight towards you? Your energy deflected it. It went to the ceiling and it knocked that fixture off the wall. And they tried to thrust it upon you, but your energy field deflected it and it landed beside you. Did you not see that? I was like, no, but I know what to do because I'd been taking classes. And Lucinda, who you had on your show, she had just taught me a technique to ramp up your energy and push, you know, negative energy away. And so I just looked around at the class and I said, give me a sec. And I did my thing and I pushed the energy out, opened the door, pushed the energy out. And the energy healers in the room were like, that was amazing. You did it. And I'm like, nobody's messing with this. I'm figuring this stuff out. I am no longer going to be impacted by this onslaught of energy that I had been dealing with for 20 years. I just didn't understand what it was. Now I understand what it is. Now I have my defenses fortified. I feel extremely safe. So the fear is gone. No matter what I was involved in, that fear has dissipated. So I think it's confusing for other healers when they tap in and they're like, whoa, what is going on with Sandy? We've got it all taken care of. I was mixed in with some very powerful forces, but I feel sparkly, clean. And so what you're seeing is fun. Fun Sandy is back, right? But again, when you don't know what these issues are that are affecting you, it's very confusing. And I think we tend to take it on as like a personal failing. So like my husband would get really frustrated with me. We'd get up in the morning, make our coffee, get everybody to school and out the door. I've got my list of things to do. And then he would come home at lunch and I would literally be at my desk bawling my eyes out, just completely devastated and upset. Yeah. And he's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know. But I would be at my desk experiencing massive, severe, you know, emotional swings. And he's like, what is wrong with you? And we had to, you know, I figured out I was being attacked. And so we think, oh, that's just your ego. Oh, sometimes it's not your ego. Sometimes it's external forces. And I think people are afraid to look at these different dimensional aspects, but it is real. It is part of our existence. And I think we need to look at it. We need to look within. We are all absolutely at the core divine love. That's the core, right? But we're having these experiences and it's a multi-dimensional experience. And so anyway, yeah, so it's been a crazy couple crazy going in, but we got to figure it out. And I feel fan-frickin-tastic. It's like, it's so great just to get your energy back and to feel safe and protected and empowered. It's an empowerment when you can get into your own power and no longer be afraid of what's going to happen next. And so
yes,
and there is an oil for that, right? There's lots of oils that we can do to ramp up our energy. And so I got really good with my different protocols and techniques. And a day does not go by that I don't use my oils, because it's just an aspect of my being now and an aspect of my protection.
yes.
Is that a bigger story than you wanted? I don't know.
No, I love big stories, long stories, interesting stories, anything but boring stories. And boring is not one of the words anyone can use to describe Sandy Chasteen.
Probably not.
No. So Frances definitely here rooting for you. She says, good day. Thanks for your honesty.
Hello,
yes,
Frances.
Being honest. And then Amelia, of course, she said the shift in the past year has pushed us to really accept who we are, light beings of love.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there is nothing to be afraid of. We should be aware of other dimensional realities, but staying in that feeling and that power of love. Absolutely, that Christ energy. Mm-hmm. Yes. Amelia is my hero. Every day I log into Facebook and I'm like, what's Amelia up to? And her words always lift me up. Like, they make me sit up straight. And it's always love, compassion, and non-judgment, and just wonder and awe of the love and the energy that we are and that we're bringing to the planet.
Yes, and you bring a lot of love to the planet. So you have the doTERRA, you're doing your workshop. I want to speak a little briefly about the workshop you have coming up. Is that finalized?
We're getting the flyer together. Yes, it'll be on Sunday, May 26th at Body Studios in Anaheim from 10 to 3. And if people have been to my vendor blender events in the past, what we do is everybody gets together, they set up their different booths, and then I facilitate. And usually everybody would get about 2 minutes to talk about their business and promote what they're doing, upcoming workshops. What we're going to do on this day is 10 to 3. And so 10 to 1, it will be open mingling, and all attendees are invited to come for free and experience what we have to offer. The focus is on I'm not supposed to say anxiety and depression, anxious feelings and sadness, right? But that's what it is, anxiety, depression, and PTSD. And we're collecting a group of healers that are volunteering their time to offer mini sessions. And the intention is to show people the power in these natural solutions and holistic modalities to help bring the body back into balance. And I can tell you, so we're opening the invitation to veterans, but anybody and everybody is welcome to come. Please come. And so each booth will be focused on, releasing trauma, bringing the body back into balance for anxiety, depression. I'll be there. I'll be doing aroma touch hand technique, and I'll have my scanner. It's a little handheld. I like being at my desk. It's so handy. It's a little handheld device that you just hold it. It's an app on my phone, and then it spits out a report of oils that will help bring your body back into balance. So I'll have all my oils and samples. And then Edward Phillip will be there. He's a hypnotherapist. He's got a really cool little hand technique that helps you release trauma just so quickly. So he's an advocate and member of my little community. But so that's the whole idea. So from 10 to 1, people will mill around. I'm working on getting some food brought in. And then from 1 to 2, I would like to have everybody go around the room and give, 2 to 3 minutes each of what it is they have, what they're offering, and make sure everybody understands that they're there and can experience everything. And we'll wrap up around 3 o'clock. So it'll be a beautiful day of healing, and we're doing it during Memorial Day weekend to really celebrate veterans. So yes, we know it's during Memorial Day weekend. It's by design to bring attention to our veterans. So I know I went through a lot, and I was only in for 13 years, right? I ended up getting recalled after 9/11 and serving a few more years. But yeah. So
Yeah.
I just want to focus my energy on giving back. And so the veteran population, it's staggering when we hear the suicide rates and the depression rates and homelessness and just the whole cacophony of issues that are stemming from unresolved trauma. So we have solutions. And so I want to offer it up on a silver platter and celebrate the community that we have assembled, and share the tools and resources with these folks. And again, the whole intention is decreasing your reliance on pharmaceuticals, because they don't resolve the problem. All they're doing is honestly making it worse. And so if we can pull those substances out of the body, we can step into an empowered state and regain that balance.
Yes.
Live the lives we're supposed to live. But under the veil of trauma, it's very difficult to function, much less step into who you were meant to be in this world.
Okay. And so that date again is the 26th?
Sunday, May 26th. So it's the Sunday of Memorial Day weekend at Body Studios.
Okay.
Let's see what our comments are. All right. So we've got Torin. Torin is an amazing healer. She's an oily gal too. She's been very helpful with me when we get on the multidimensional stuff. And Tanya.
From the train.
She's amazing. And then Tanya is a powerhouse healer. She's going to be bringing oils and CBD to the equation. She's fabulous. Amelia, what does she say? We need trust who we are, be certain of our path. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you have any fear, that's where we need to get back into alignment and fully embrace who we are and what we're bringing to the planet. The planet needs us right now. We are in a very critical junction. And it's time to wake up and make that shift. And so I know I'm part of that equation. And it's time to step up. And I know I had to go through my own personal journey. I had to go through my own fire to be the lightning rod that I am now. So watch out.
Yes, but you are not only the lightning rod, but you're also helping people as well. You have a little group of people that enjoy lunch together and bunching together and munching together.
Yay!
Can you tell us a little bit about Lunch Bunch and when the next one is?
Yeah, thank you. I love Lunch Bunch, and I know you do too. So this is a very casual networking group that we have. It's mainly holistic practitioners. It's totally open to anybody and everyone. So don't feel like, oh, I'm not a holistic practitioner, I can't go. Everybody's welcome. In fact, I love when kind of mainstream people that have no idea what this world is, I love when they wander in and just listen. So I facilitate. It's open to anybody. We meet the third Friday of every month at Body Studios, same place, the day before their monthly fair, and we meet for lunch. So it's 11 to 1-ish. We tend to go a little over, but we do a potluck because in our group, somebody's vegan, somebody's paleo, somebody's keto. There is no standard meal I can bring that makes everybody happy. So bring what you need to eat, right? And then we share. And from 11 to 11:30, it's open mingling and connecting. Figure out who you want to sit next to. And then from 11:30 to 1, we go around the room and everybody gets about 2 minutes to talk about their product or service that they represent. What's their business? Again, it's entrepreneurs.
That's right.
Right? And most of us are in the healing professions, right? So I've got the doTERRA essential oils. I'm a holistic health coach, but everybody brings what they do. And the beauty of networking in this way is that we can collaborate. And once we learn, oh, that's what you do? Well, this is what I do. What if we put them together, right? So what I love as a connector is connecting people whose pieces fit together, right? And I've seen so many beautiful workshops and retreats and businesses and collaborations emerge, and it's beautiful. But don't forget that I want to come too. So if you're having a big workshop or event, please invite me because I want to come. And I love just seeing the majesty and the beauty of everything that's created. And, you know, in this sense of collaboration, I firmly believe that when we lock arms, we all succeed. So whether it's, you know, building my doTERRA team or putting on a workshop or, you know, collaborating with other people and using the oils collectively, it's all good. It's, you know, so if you're on another doTERRA team, don't feel like, oh, I can't go because she's doing doTERRA. We are all doing this together. And I just want to break down all those walls and really, you know, connect heart to heart and lock arms, collaborate, connect, and see what change we can impart on the world. That's really the whole point. And so if you're a seeker, somebody that's looking, you're kind of intrigued by this whole holistic world, it's a great place to come and connect with a wide variety of different healers. And so maybe you're not ready for past life regression, even though it's multidimensional, it's all in the same aspect. It's just a different aspect of yourself. It's all the same thing. Anyway, maybe you're not ready for that, and the whole multidimensional thing. Maybe you're just ready for a Reiki treatment, right? So maybe you can connect with somebody like Amelia Cuevas, right? And have this amazing, beautiful healing. It's whatever you're ready for. Maybe you would like to experience the aroma touch. I love that. Connect with me. So message me. If you're like, what the heck's this aroma touch? Message me, call me, come over. Let me rub oils on you and let me share my passion and what I bring to the world. So I think of the aroma touch as my currency. I love to trade with people. So people that come to Lunch Bunch, I'm like, oh, you do this technique? I've never heard of that. Come over to my house. I'll do an aroma touch and you can share what you do, right? And then when I'm working with people, I get them as far as I can get them. And I'm like, you know what? You would really benefit from a session with Sharifah, or you would really benefit from a session with Amelia. You would really benefit from a session with Edward. And so that's what I do. I'm like a triage. So I'm a connector at heart. And that's what makes me really happy. So I'm not out to heal the whole world. I'm just here to connect everybody.
Beautiful. That's like the tagline that needs to be on your website. Yeah. But you are connecting a lot of people. Tanya Fitzpatrick placed the link in the comments.
Oh, great. Thank you,
Lunch
Tanya.
Bunch on location is in Yorba Linda. I don't know.
Yeah, so because of you, Sharifah, you're like, you need to do more Lunch Bunch stuff. All right, so we've got our standard.
Yorba Linda, though.
We regulated it. So it's the third Friday of every month at Body Studios in Anaheim. That's our central landing spot. But then we wanted to expand a little bit, and we want to see where these people are working and where's their home office, right? And so we've started this Lunch Bunch on location. So that's a second event that we have during the month. So this month we're going to visit Kristen Fuel in Yorba Linda. Well, I live in Irvine, so going to Yorba Linda, that's a hike, right? I got a plan. I just show up. And so what we want to do is showcase some of these folks in our broader community and go to their neighborhood. And so I'm going to plan a whole day in Yorba Linda. I'm going to do something in the morning. I'm going to go to the Lunch Bunch on location. And then, so while we're there on location, she'll have a chance, she'll have 20 minutes to share her business, what's going on there, and do a short demonstration. So we'll get to see Kristen in action, and it's full circle yoga. So we'll probably be doing some yoga, I'm guessing, maybe a short meditation. It'll be beautiful. Then we'll have lunch, we'll collaborate and all that kind of stuff. At the end, we do raffles, so bring something to share. And it's intense and it's beautiful and I love it, right? And then,
yes, because we'll
go back home.
Yes, because we're all about community and working together. Speaking of community and working together, we want to say good afternoon to Dan. And you're also a part of the WIN event. You want to tell us a little bit about that, Sandy?
So WIN, okay, I have to think what it even stands for, but what I know is happening is I'm part of a panel that's going to talk about being an entrepreneur in the holistic setting. What does that look like? What does it feel like? What are some tips? And so I'm just one of many people that are going to be collected on that. Dan, if you've got your ears on, can you put a link for that event so everybody can see it and come on out?
Yes.
So I'm on the spot now. I can't even remember what else we're doing. I just know my role, right?
Yes.
And kind of, Dan asked us, what are you known for? What do you bring to the table? I'm a connector, and I love like cross promoting. Again, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket. It's not like essential oils is all you need in the whole wide world. I think it's part of the equation. I love them. They're fabulous. But I think we need to look at, full 360 on the holistic view of mind, body, and spirit, and looking at what's going on with our thoughts, with our emotions, and with our gut, and so there's room for lots of collaboration in that journey.
So yes, that's a WIN event, and we'll see if we can get Dan to post it or Tanya to post it somewhere. But I have my ticket. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, Sandy, we are coming down to the last few minutes. We got a couple of minutes to the show, and at the end of every show, I just like to allow my guests the opportunity to just speak to our viewers, speak to everyone who's watching, and let them know what you want them to take away from your interview.
I would say the biggest thing is the reminder that we are absolutely spiritual beings in a physical plane. This experience is very temporary. This is just our physical body. We are absolutely soul energy. We are love energy, and we are simply having this experience. You're having more experiences than you're consciously aware of, but that's another call. But the whole point, I believe, of this experience is to feel the richness of this environment and get over the fear and learn how to love. I think the entire experience is to hone and sharpen the sword on finding love, compassion, and non-judgment. And so when you're feeling triggered, when you're feeling upset, it's an opportunity to look inside and rediscover that love. And I think that's the whole ball game. And so if there's anything wrong with your physical body, if you're feeling disease, we want to go back. Where are you experiencing fear? How can we get back to love? And it's always feeling safe, feeling protected, and that you are absolutely divinely guided at every moment of every day. And never ever forget that.
I think that was beautiful.
And there's an oil for that.
I'm sure there is. And we just had Tanya post the link. You see, you gotta love Tanya. Tanya comes right.
I love you, Tanya. Wellness and Holistic Entrepreneur Night. That's it.
Yes. So the link is right there. Thank you, Tanya. Welcome. Good afternoon to GoNaz. So again, I want to thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah. It's always a pleasure, Sandy.
Thank you, Sharifah. I love you, and I will see you at Lunch Bunch.
Yeah. I love you. I will see you. I have to. You're Belinda. I have to see about that. I got to figure out your Belinda and all of that. But we shall see, because I'm working on getting out more. I've been out.
And I'm betting that you need some more oils too. So we'll
Yes. I'll figure that out. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in, all of our listeners, Tanya, for all of your help, Dan, Francis, everyone who joined us in the chat room today. I want to especially thank our sponsor, Fireball Approves. For anyone who's looking at rental properties, do not get scammed by scammers out there. Go to fireballapproves.com to make sure your listing is Fireball approved. If you're interested in being, I know, huh? She's just a grandmother who's protecting people from online scams. She's the best. You got to check out fireballapproves.com. If you're interested in being a guest for sponsorship opportunities or just to watch more of my interviews, visit the website at asksharifah.com. Until then, everyone have a wonderful day. Bye now.